During the summer of 2020, there were a number of demonstrations around the country as a Black Lives Matter movement was energized, sadly, by the murder of George Floyd in Minnesota. It seemed like there was a moment where we were going to begin to make progress on reforming the racism and the brutality that has defined so many of our local police forces for so long. Since sometime around the fall of 2020, that momentum began to recede. And one of the reasons was that the opponents of police reform, the people who want to see strong policing and, in fact, racist policing, focused not on the need for reform, but on what was at the time a relatively minor uptick in crime in many cities, varied from city to city, more in some, less in others, to tell a story that crime is out of control. And the reason is that because of these demonstrators. And what they want to do is take money away from police and there'll be more crime. One thing you have to know about police funding is that when crime is low, police want more funding because they're keeping crime low. And when crime is high, they want more funding because crime is high and we need more police. That's the logic of police funding. The one politician who exploited this more than any was Eric Adams, a former police captain, Brooklyn Borough president, running for mayor of New York City. And by switching the debate and the discourse from police reform or COVID recovery to crime, Adams, backed heavily by the media who picked up on the story, and the police unions and other conservative forces who don't want police reform, rode that to becoming mayor of New York City. But now he has a dilemma. He has primed voters and citizens and residents in New York to think crime is out of control. So we focus more on crime. But of course, there's only so much he can do to change that because so much of fighting crime is out of his control. So Adams may have created a real problem for himself. But it's not just a problem for Eric Adams. It's a problem for urban American politicians generally. If you talk too much about crime being out of control, and if you ignore larger trends that say crime is down a lot over the last decades, you're creating a problem for yourself because you can't implement policies to reverse what are essentially, in the broader picture, minor upticks in crime. That happens because of forces that are out of your control as mayor.